What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Saturday, December 7th, 2024, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 31 minutes past midnight here in the eastern United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and from here in the United States. So, yesterday on Friday, there were over 67 emergency action messages broadcasted throughout the day, which is a lot. Okay, the most since the situation with Iran and Israel a few weeks back and in the spring and summer. So this is very, very serious, guys, to have over 67 nuclear attack options broadcasted in a 24-hour period is extremely rare, and it means that something is about to go down. And what you're looking at here is a live flight tracker showing a U.S. presidential Doomsday plane about to land in Southern California. Looks like it's going to Vandenberg Air Force Base, and it took off from Offutt Air Base, which is home of U.S. Strategic Command. Now, in addition to this presidential Doomsday plane taking off in the middle of the night, we also have another B-52 heading down to Southern California off the coast of Baja California area here with a bunch of aerial refuelers. Okay, check this out. This is absolutely insane. Looks like a dozen aerial refuelers and a B-52 taking off from Vegas. They did this 2 nights ago. So I don't know if they're going to be testing some kind of cruise missile and they're launching it towards the Bikini Atoll. Maybe they're testing nuclear warheads. Okay, but U.S. nuclear forces are on very, very high alert, guys. 67 nuclear attack options broadcasted on Friday. Absolutely insane. Just to let you know, the average is like 10 to 20 when nothing's going on around the world, sometimes even less than that. Okay, so this is totally insane. Now, on Friday, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko signed a new security agreement during which Lukashenko requested the deployment of Russia's Oreshnik missile within the borders of Belarus. Lukashenko also requested that if the missiles are deployed, Belarus have control over targets as well as maintenance of the missile systems. Putin announced that the Oreshnik medium-range ballistic missile system could be deployed in Belarus in the second half of 2025. Wow. And the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the combat readiness and serial manufacture of a new domestically developed cruise missile called the Peklo, or Hell, with a range of 700 kilometers and a speed of 700 kilometers per hour. Apparently 5 combat tests were conducted already. Now, we also know that Ukraine has been building their own ballistic missiles as well. Okay, so very serious situation over there. And the U.S. Embassy in Syria has put out an advisory warning U.S. citizens to leave Syria now. The security situation in Syria continues to be volatile and unpredictable, with active clashes between armed groups throughout the country. The Department of State urges U.S. citizens to depart Syria now while commercial options remain available in Damascus. U.S. citizens who choose not to depart Syria or are unable to depart should prepare contingency plans for emergency situations and be prepared to shelter in place for extended periods. The Aleppo International Airport is closed. As of November 27th, 2024, Syria is experiencing increased hostilities between armed groups and regime forces. Impacted areas include, but are not limited to, Aleppo, Idlib, Hama, Manjib, and Daraa. Wow. So crazy situation in Syria. And I want to update you guys with some of the latest information that I have on that. A missile launched at Israel from Yemen yesterday was intercepted by Israeli air defenses. According to the Israeli military, The missile was shot down before it crossed into Israeli territory, and no sirens were sounded in towns, according to protocol. So Yemen launching another long-range ballistic missile at Israel, and it was shot down outside of Israeli airspace. And a U.S. official told Reuters that the Assad regime in Damascus could fall in the coming hours, and consensus is building that the dictatorship will not survive through the weekend. Russian soldiers tasked with protecting the dictator are now fleeing the country. Okay, so Assad could be out by the weekend. That is absolutely insane. And Bloomberg is reporting that Russia has no plan to save Bashar al-Assad. Sky News is reporting that Russia has informed Syria it will only provide limited intervention for now. Moscow says that it currently has other priorities. Wow. So they're leaving Assad to the wolves. And we've heard some rumors that Assad fled to Moscow. Now we're hearing that he fled to Iran. It's hard to tell where he is. And Syrian rebels in the north and in the south of Syria have announced the formation of the Conquest of Damascus military operation. Okay, so these rebels have already formed officially their military operation to take over Damascus. Wow, so this could happen over the weekend. And Iran is conducting a general evacuation from Syria, including IRGC personnel, commanders, diplomatic staff, and Iranian civilians. And the Russian embassy in Syria has called on Russians to leave the country on flights through operating airports due to the worsening situation. The Russian Navy already left their Syrian base, and Russian army has abandoned their positions as well. So Syria is collapsing, guys. And Romania's top court has annulled the first round of the latest presidential elections. The judges declared that Romania was the target of an aggressive Russian hybrid attack, primarily using TikTok. They say that massive manipulations benefited the pro-Russian politician Georgescu. Wow, so Romania literally canceling their presidential election because the candidate that won was pro-Russian. Wow. And here we have the flight path of a U.S. Navy E-6 Mercury that was looping off the coast of New Jersey, communicating with our submerged nuclear-armed submarines. This was in the evening on Friday. Okay, 67 nuclear attack options broadcasted. And here we have an official statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Romania. Romanian authorities took the decision to declassify and release relevant intelligence reports on malign foreign operations, including illegal financing, digital campaign amplification, and cyber attacks targeting the presidential elections in Romania. The declassified reports show an unprecedented and significant foreign interference aimed at democratic institutions and processes. They are part of a continuous attempt to undermine Romania's firm commitment to Euro-Atlantic values and our membership in the EU and NATO. Romanian authorities are investigating this ongoing influence attempt. We informed our allies, and we will take all the necessary steps to protect our democracy, national security, and sovereignty. Romania remains committed to safeguarding its democratic institutions and processes. Wow, so this is serious, guys, because we have Transnistria, which is part of Moldova, and obviously if the pro-Russian candidate in Romania became president, that would be a huge blow to the Black Sea region for NATO and for the EU. So I would not be surprised if Russia was trying to sway the election. And here we have the flight paths of Putin's presidential plane going to Minsk last night to sign this new security agreement. They're going to be deploying the Oreshnik to Belarus. I wonder how Trump is going to respond to that. Okay, Trump is not one to mess around, so it's going to be interesting if Trump deploys missiles in Poland, possibly. That could happen, okay? Here we have a British reconnaissance plane that was patrolling the western shore of Crimea, probably selecting targets for Ukrainian missile strikes with Storm Shadows or possibly ATACMs along the west coast of Crimea. And an unidentified illness in the Congo appears to be a respiratory disease, according to the Congo health minister. He said, "I can't say yet whether it's waterborne, a bacterial infection, or transmitted through coughing. We need to identify the pathogen first before determining how it spreads." And a California child who tested positive for H5N1 bird flu had the same strain from the dairy farm outbreak, and the child had no contact with dairy cattle. So basically, this kid got sick from maybe drinking contaminated milk with the bird flu. And according to Norwegian authorities, a civilian cargo vessel, the Finlandia Seaways, ran aground on Thursday while transporting military hardware destined for Poland. In a statement to AFP, an official said the vessel hit a shoal and suffered damage to the rudder and propeller. It had to be tugged to a dock. The vessel was transporting components of NYPrepper's surface-to-air missile batteries as part of Norway's commitment to forward-deployed NATO forces in Poland. The full deployment consists of 100 soldiers, the NYPrepper's missiles, and a complement of Norwegian F-35s, which will participate in a number of ongoing missions on the eastern flank of the NATO bloc. And the death toll of some Russian airstrikes in Zaporizhia in Ukraine has increased to 9 civilians dead, 17 wounded. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I do have the 24/7 live stream up and running right now, so you can listen to these nuclear attack options as they come in. Another interesting thing about these nuclear attack options on Friday is that they were using the call sign Skybound. Now, some of you guys may be familiar with the Sky Master and the Sky King messages, which are the highest priority nuclear attack options below the actual emergency war order, which is the order to launch. Okay, so I don't know if Skybound is some kind of new classification of emergency action messages or if it's just a random call sign. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back later on with more updates, and I will be in the 24/7 live stream. So hopefully I'll see you there. Follow me on Telegram and Twitter. I post all my videos to my Telegram and Twitter. The links are in the description below this video. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.